Welcome back. Just to remind you of the main headlines. Libya's National Transitional Council still pushing to secure the Libyan capital, Tripoli. We'll bring you all updates on that as we get it from our team live in Libya. There's been a major meeting today in Paris between Nicolas Sarkozy and the leader of the NTC, Mahmoud Jibril. They've announced a major conference in Paris on the future of Libya for September the 1st. And France worked out ways to save 11 billion euros. Austerity packages announced here in France, and of course part of a general trend across Europe. We're reporting on all of that and much more here on this Live from Paris programme from now until midnight here on France 24. Time now for Media Watch. James Creedon is poised and ready with a computer and lots of stories. Let's just go straight to him. James.
Evening, Mark. So we'll start with a look at some of the information that's coming out from Libya this evening. A lot of discussion about the Rixos Hotel and those 35 journalists who were released this afternoon. Unfortunately, we've heard about 6 Italian journalists being taken hostage. But Storyful is concentrating on those journalists who were freed from the Rixos Hotel right next to the Gaddafi compound. And lots of information that they've been pulling from that. People inside tweeting, and this tweet I thought was worth showing. Everyone who stayed at Rixos Tripoli compared it to Hotel California. You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave. And indeed, 5...
Whose song was that, James? Do you know?
That was the Eagles,
well done.
Hotel California. And I did check that before I came on.
Good boy.
But in any case, yeah, a very terrifying situation for them. And you had journalists throughout the day. In fact, earlier this morning, you had Matthew Chance of the BBC giving a very scary interview, actually, to the BBC Radio 4 this morning, saying that it was a desperate situation. You see here on the live blog on the New York Times, he spoke later to the media, and it was a more reassuring picture, of course, that he painted.
It's an amazing thing, isn't it, James? Because we're all nice and cosy here in our suits in this nice, air-conditioned studio, right. But they're out there, sweating with people pointing guns at them, and not being allowed to do things, about to eat, not to drink. It's horrific stuff.
An unpredictable situation as well, not knowing whether they could be held hostage as kind of reprisal. Now, another article that was very interesting today was from Le Quotidien d'Oran. Now, this is a neighbouring Algeria. Mm-hmm. They're looking at the media's role in the Libyan war, rolling news channels, and whether they've been completely neutral. Now, they're looking at, for example, Al Jazeera, owned by the Emir of Qatar, and they're saying, Qatar is part of the coalition that helped the National Transitional Council in Libya, and they're saying in this article that really Al Jazeera was a much greater weapon in many senses than any weapons they could have provided the Libyan rebels.
Why is that?
Well, basically what they're saying is that it wasn't entirely impartial. The journalist speaking in this article says that the media were not just reporting what happened in Libya. This is his point of view. He seems to think it was kind of biased. They were actors in the pace of events declaring the Gaddafi regime finished. And in fact, through declaring it to be over, that could have demoralised a lot of the, I suppose, final supporters of the Gaddafi regime.
So are they blaming the media then for the mix-up over Saif al-Islam's so-called arrest and those kind of things?
Exactly. They're saying that in some senses was psychological warfare, a propaganda exercise. For this journalist, he doesn't have any illusions. He thinks that was just hot air. And the result of that was that many senior officers in the Gaddafi forces gave themselves over and were arrested. So interesting stuff there.
I'm not quite sure whether I agree with that, but there we go.
Exactly. It's one point of view saying that things weren't entirely impartial. Now, lots of coverage too of Dominique Strauss-Kahn, in particular in the French media today. Okay. So just a quick look at what they've been saying about that. L'Express has a blog here, and they're talking about the fallout of the Dominique Strauss-Kahn case. Of course, he was cleared yesterday in New York, could be coming back to France very, very soon. And basically what Renaud Raval, the media correspondent for the L'Express, is saying, everybody lost in this case. Dominique Strauss-Kahn lost. The media came out of it not looking very good in France for not having kept tabs on Dominique Strauss-Kahn over the years. The American justice system revealed itself to be somewhat tainted by the political ambitions of Cyrus Vance, who was the prosecutor. The only person who came out with her head held high was Anne Sinclair, according to this guy's view of things. He said that she gave everybody a lesson in dignity and in elegance. Now, he's written a book about her, so I think he's a bit of a fan of Anne Sinclair, this guy. Now, elsewhere, this article was pretty interesting. It was also in L'Express. They had an interview with the lawyer, one of the lawyers for Dominique Strauss, or for Nafissatou Diallo in Paris, and he said that a lot of people who wanted to give testimony for Nafissatou Diallo in this case in New York were in some ways silenced by the big entourage and the big network that Dominique Strauss-Kahn benefits from in France.
The biggest loser, for me, justice. Simple as that,
because
there's no justice for anybody. That's the thing.
That's
James, we need to leave it there.
Thanks, Mark.
James Creedon with Media Watch. Stay with us, more to come. You're watching France 24.